What's up guys, I'm going to teach you in this video how you can lucid dream and basically why you would want to. So if you're watching this, there's a chance that you've been meditating. I mean, if you're watching the channel Gaia Meditation, you've probably been meditating at least once in your life. You know, you're at least interested in meditation. And so hopefully you've built up that practice of self-awareness and of being conscious, which is what meditation is primarily about, is that self-awareness, but also just being slightly detached from your thoughts, so that you're able to observe them without fully interacting with them. So lucid dreaming is sort of like this, it's a kind of similar thing, but it's also a little bit different. So before we get into how to lucid dream, here is what lucid dreaming is. A lucid dream is where you have a dream in which you're aware of the fact that you're dreaming. So it's almost like your mind has woken up, but your body is still asleep. So you're in this dream world, in this new environment, this new scenario where you can do anything you want. You can control it, you can decide what to do, what experiences to have. Your conscious mind thinks it's real, or at least you know that you're in a dream, you know that you are aware, but you also know that there are no consequences because it's in a dream, so you can do anything. When you wake up, it feels incredibly vivid. You know, you'll have the memories of it, you can write them down, you can draw pictures, whatever. Many people take inspiration and motivation from a lucid dream and bring it back into the waking world. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a list of the benefits of lucid dreaming, but here are a few benefits of lucid dreaming. You will sleep better. You'll feel more motivated when you wake up. You'll be able to experience things that you otherwise would never have been able to experience, like becoming an animal, teleporting, flying, all of these things, time travel, and all sorts of other crazy things. You'll be able to remove fears and phobias from your mind, improve your confidence, understand more about your subconscious mind and how your personality is composed of different pieces that are essentially your dream characters in the dream, and huge numbers of other things. You can do all sorts of things in a lucid dream, not to mention the spiritual and the consciousness sort of implications of this, the things you can take this to, the direction you can take this towards. It's really quite profound. But most people, when they first start, with lucid dreaming, they first have their first few lucid dreams. They want to do things like manipulation, flying, fun things, or even just exploring around the city that you live in the dream. So there's many benefits. The main one being, of course, that you can experience whatever you want to. So in this life, if you can imagine an experience, you can lucid dream about it. And in many cases, there's actually experiences that you can't imagine that you can experience. But we'll get onto that in another video. So here are some very simple ways you can lucid dream. I don't want to say this week, but certainly in the next few weeks to the next month. So number one, you need to start writing your dreams down every single morning. And this can be in a notepad, it can be in an app. I have an iPhone app called How to Lucid. You can just look for the symbol of the grey eye, which looks like this. But you can also, write them down in a notepad or on your computer or something. The key thing here is you need to be able to highlight important parts of the dream and easily look back through previous dreams and see, what things you dreamed about the most often. Where the dream signs, you could call them, the recurring dream patterns, what they are. You need to be able to see those things. So find a good dream journal, write down something every single morning. If you can't remember any dreams, that's fine too, but you need to make sure you write down no dreams recalled, because it will build the habit in your subconscious mind that you want to remember your dreams. Even if you're writing down something like, I didn't remember anything this morning, just the act of writing that down will tell your subconscious mind that actually you do care about dreams and you want to remember them. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it works, so just trust me on that one. Number two, you need to meditate every morning, which hopefully you're already doing, but just if you're not, it can be something really simple. It doesn't have to be a long meditation, and it certainly doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, you can literally just count your breaths from 1 to 10 and just do that for 5 or 10 minutes a day. As long as it's the first thing you do, and if you want to be really, if you really want to go overboard on this, make sure it's also the last thing you do at night. So that the first thing you do and the last thing you do is be mindful. It's a really good way of living, and it's certainly a good way of building the foundation on which you can learn to lucid dream. And number three is you need to do what are called reality checks. A reality check is where you test whether you're awake or not. Now, most people, you're probably looking at me thinking, well, I know I'm awake because, I'm here and I'm watching this video and I've got my, drink by me and I know that this is real. But if you were asked how you would prove that, you would probably say something like, oh, well, I can touch this glass of lemonade or something, I can look around and I can see things and I can hear myself thinking in my head. I can, articulate my thoughts, and I can touch and feel things, hear things. But you can do all of those things in a lucid dream and in a dreaming state. So really, to be able to test whether you're awake or asleep, you need to do what's called a reality test, which is where you perform an action, because in this reality, we're bound by the laws of physics. So if I try and push my finger through my hand, no matter how hard I press to a certain, up to a certain limit, the finger is not going to go through the hand. And this is actually the most effective reality test I know of. So you take your hand like this, and you try and push this finger through this palm. If it does go through, you can conclude that you're dreaming. So I know it sounds kind of crazy, it sounds weird, right? But just stick with me on this. Just try this for a week or two. About 10 or 20 times a day, randomly just ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? But don't assume that you already know the answer. Try and really doubt your reality and look around for specific details that might give you clues as to whether you're dreaming. Be really doubtful and don't expect any answer one way or the other. So, and this is really important, by the way, you need to go into that question, the reality check, not assuming that you're awake and not assuming that you're dreaming. You need to go into it as if you're genuinely trying to find out for yourself, as if you don't already know. That's a really important distinction. So ask yourself if you're dreaming. At the same time, try and push your finger through your palm. Okay? What that's going to do is it's going to basically tell you whether or not you're dreaming or not. If your finger goes through your palm, you're dreaming. And if it doesn't, you can obviously conclude that you're awake. Here's the interesting thing. If you do that enough times throughout the day, 10 to 20 times I've found is the ideal amount. One of those times, it will eventually happen in a dream. In a normal dream, you will do that reality check and your finger will go through your palm and you'll suddenly have this quite hard to describe moment where you're snapped into what we call lucidity. You're snapped awake in the dream. It's almost like you've woken up in the dream, which is quite hard to imagine, especially if you've never done it before. But it feels something like, imagine you are in the middle of something, whether it's a conversation, you're running down the road, and suddenly you stop for a second and you look around and you think, oh, hold on a second, this isn't real, this is a dream. That's exactly what your first lucid dream will feel like. And often that will be triggered by this reality check that I just explained. So give it a try. The best time to do it is 10 to 20 times a day, or whenever you see or experience something unusual. That's going to be really important later on. And that's it. Practice those 3 things and you should have a lucid dream within a month or so. If you want to fast track it, I do have a course called the Lucid Dreaming Bootcamp course, which is basically a step-by-step course and guide on how to have your first lucid dream within 2 weeks or less. Most people have their first lucid dream way before then. But if you just want to fast track it, you want to guarantee that you're going to lucid dream, there's a huge amount of value in there. It also explains how to do advanced things in a lucid dream. I really want to make sure that you check it out, at least have a look at the page, read people's reviews, read what you're going to learn in the course. There's also a bunch of free bonuses and stuff like that. So if you want to fast track and guarantee that you'll lucid dream in the next 2 weeks or less, go and check out the bootcamp course, a 30-day lucid dreaming bootcamp course. The link is in the description. But beyond that, just try those techniques out, see how you get on, and remember to keep meditating, because meditation is actually really important for lucid dreaming. You're probably wondering, why am I appearing on this channel? Well, the reason is there's a huge crossover between lucid dreaming and meditation. I teach lucid dreaming techniques and some meditation techniques, and of course this channel is primarily meditation techniques and videos. But I believe there is a huge crossover between the two, and I often find myself teaching, when people ask about lucid dreaming, I find myself recommending the basics, which is, are you meditating? Are you being mindful enough? And those often have the biggest impact and the biggest results for people. So check it out, let me know what you think, and don't forget to leave a comment and all the usual stuff that you would do on YouTube, like share the video, subscribe with your mum's dog's account, whatever.